However, since then, he's gone underground. He's really rejected being in the public eye, and that's his personal choice at this time.
Okay, and for people like Henry Deacon, now, what would lead you to believe that what he was telling you was the truth? Was it just that you were able to verify his credentials, and what were those credentials like? Why do you believe this man, that he's been to Mars?
Well, it's very complex, and that's when you get into that, you get into what we do at Project Camelot and what the provenance of information is and where it comes from. Is always a difficult situation on the planet, on planet Earth, actually, as we have it at this time, simply because you've got the matrix operating, and so a lot of what you hear, what you see, even what is considered to be solid science, is often wrong, and it's often based on misleading information. Obviously, we have the Illuminati, and we have this whole sort of mindset put in place that is about keeping people dumbed down and not letting the truth out. So when you're in an atmosphere like that, anything that you find out that could be close to the truth is going to be heavily inundated by things like scalar weaponry to try to take you off track. If you get paperwork, things like diplomas or badges or whatever you want to call them, all of these things can be so easily manufactured and faked that to rely on that sort of thing, in my opinion, is really stupid. Now, he did have some of those things, and he did show us some of those things. But to be honest, that's not really why we believe him, at least not why I would believe him. What we really specialize in is witness testimony, and that's why the interviews are so crucial, and that's why that give and take and the camera sort of being placed in their face, and the sort of informal atmosphere in which we operate. What it allows us to do is get fairly close to the witnesses we interview. Many of them become good friends in the process. We share a lot of time with them. We listen to them. We compare notes. Both of us had a substantial background, investigating black projects and information. We both scoured the web. I spent years also in doing my own, investigations and into things like the nature of reality and investigating all kinds of aspects of that. I also did my own meditation and stimulated my own kundalini and had a lot of samadhi experiences before I ever met Bill or did Camelot. So my background was more in the esoteric. I studied Aleister Crowley and went down that road, investigating, not practicing. I wasn't, a practicing magician, so to speak, but that philosophy and that all of that sort of made it possible for me to look at material and to look at evidence from a completely different standpoint. And I think also that you have to keep in mind that we're moving from the third dimension into the fourth dimension, or density. And I do understand there's 7 densities, they say, and multiple dimensions. So, but we are moving, the Earth is moving into another density. And as we do so, reality morphs, and reality is becoming a lot more fluid. And therefore, your abilities as a creator become a lot more apparent. And that's part of the journey that we've been on, and what we're exploring and what we're revealing is really people's own power. So getting to the truth of the matter, getting to find out the things that people have been told and lied about for all these years is what's really crucial, and that's what we do.
Okay, and that's great. I wonder if you're at all able to sort of summarize, based on this, tremendous amount of information that you guys have gathered. Would you be able to put together a bit of what you perceive to be the sort of big picture of what is going on in our current reality? And
well, I mean, it would take quite a while to really drill down in that way. But I think that I could say in very sort of short, succinct way that obviously the movie The Matrix was a great beginning to understanding that everything around us is really up for grabs and up for interpretation, and that what we call the consensus reality is just a mirage. Then once you get beyond that, I would say that we do have a planet that is under the rule of a group of alien beings who are, or off-planet beings, interdimensionals. I mean, we're all multidimensional individual spirits, whatever. But these are entities who are service to self is pretty much the designation that is most simple to understand. In other words, that they are not here for necessarily our own benefit, and that they have been here for millions of years, and that some of whom have had a hand in creating us, or, in this physical form as the human race. And as far as I'm concerned, we're all ETs, so that we're all mixtures of various ET races. Many of us have come here to inhabit human bodies at this time to help the planet and humanity move into the next density. And so that's what we're doing. We're moving towards back to God, if you will, or source. And so that's kind of the name of the game, or the game being played here. And ultimately, we're all spirits having a material experience here. And what else can I say about that? I have to say that the Illuminati and the people that appear to be in power are being influenced by not only interdimensionals, which is, various races, but that they've made some deals with governments and so on. But on top of that, there are also entities that are non-corporeal. In other words, they don't have bodies, that are influencing, I think, both groups. In other words, the interdimensionals as well as the humans. So it's a complex game that's going on Earth. And, enlightenment is the name of the game. Getting beyond the game is the name of the game, if you will. So that's what I would say.
And do you think that this could also be looked at in sort of, some people might view it as angels and demons? When you talk about ETs and extra dimensionals, do you think that some of these extra dimensional beings would be perceived as so-called demons by, other people?
Yeah, I mean, labels are kind of, they can be useful to a point, but ultimately they're not really going to clarify things all that well. I mean, I think in biblical times, or whatever you want to call it, they like to refer to things as angels and demons. That was a way of categorizing things that made sense to them. I think it's confusing, because if you say an angel, like an angel versus a demon, then a lot of times the impression is that an angel is good and a demon is bad, or service to self versus service to others. And actually, angels can be just as service to self, I believe, as so-called demons. And so, again, these labels are difficult to deal with, But if someone wants to use those labels, they can be applied.
Okay.